Shit, I don't even write rhymes. But what I will do, I'ma send you this open scribe through the airwaves. Vibe with me.
I know, I know, some places we can go.
Yeah, nigga, I remember we was kids, we had dreams of being here.
I know,
I said we, cause I'm here, you here.
Some places we can go, some places we can go. Do you wanna ride?
Yeah. Ride with me.
With me.
Your spot is reserved, family.
Do you wanna ride?
Cigarette boats, yachts. Ain't nowhere we can't go. We in South Beach in the Hamptons too, baby. You know why they call a project? Because it's a project, an experiment. Wearing it only as objects, an object for us to explore our prospects. Sidestep cops on the way to the top. Yes. As kids, we would daydream sitting on our steps, pointing at cars like, yeah, that's our sex. Hustlers, profits made our eyes stretch. On some Dr. Spock shit, we started our trek. Some of us made it, most of us digress. In the name of those who ain't made it, my progress. To show success, please live through me. See, I'm the eyes for Emery, keep them alive. So every time I press 5, all he wanna hear is his boy talk fly. Up in the fed, still holding his head. Cause when he hits the streets, we gon' eat through this bread and let's ride.
I know, I know, some places we can go.
I'm crushing the billboard shows. MTV, BET, Grammys, Crushland and Ripley.
Some places we
all that fly shit we talked about.
Places we can go.
Yo, no Sinatra, pinky rings, blue diamonds and everything.
With me.
That's what we talked about, right?
Do you wanna ride with me?
I told you. Right. International Hove, I told you so. 40-40s out in Tokyo, Singapore, all this from singing songs. Coming up though, we thought slinging raw was the end all be all of being rich, didn't we? Little did I know my more potent delivery. With delivery, kingpin of the ink pen, monster, the double entendre, Coke is still my sponsor. The cola, yeah, Hova, still getting it in with soda. Tired, no sir, I ain't lose no weight. Started from the crates, now sitting on a whole case. Since they got you sitting on that old case, our dreams is on hold like TiVo, so I can't wait till you get your date. I got some templates outside of the gate, we gon' ride.
I know, some places we can go, some places we can go.
Don't even worry about it though, you ain't missing nothing. It only gets better.
Some places we can go.
They got the Maybach coupe now.
We can go.
Look like the Batmobile. Phantom top just comes off that joint. It only gets better.
Do you wanna ride?
They can lock your body, they can't trap your mind, keep your spirit alive, read your books. Matter of fact, let me take you somewhere, vibe with me. Come on. Now me and my little mama, Keita and Tata, on the beds out in Central Pass, Jay Brown and Kawana, sneaking marijuana. You know that Mary J give you no more drama. Lost a couple friends, this whole shit got word. When you get home, you know your spot's reserved, you heard? I put my niggas on, my niggas put they niggas on. Now we all somewhere fun, chillin', sippin' sun. I ain't forget you, cousin. Yeah, nigga, y'all can wear sneakers on if you want to. Y'all niggas come on, we playing Money Marathon. My youngin' is LeBron. You know what that makes me, baby. Big homie. Henry, what's up?
Some places we can go. Do you wanna ride?
You wanna ride with us? Morning, welcome.
With me.
We ain't on no bullshit.
Oh, do you wanna ride?
So freedom. Big time, see you too, boy.
With me.
Guru, I don't usually do this, but roll me up, son, man. Let me get Nello on this shit right here. Yeah. Yeah. White paper though, nigga, can't fuck with those blunts. White paper, baby. Old school, nigga. Give me a joint. Smooth it out, Young Asia. Emery Jones. Word to my mama, we living.
Talk to me nice, set the mood off in there. Still downtown, old crews up in there. All the dogs with me make it hard just to move up in there. Like, is it the right time, baby? This is the right time. Pour up a white wine. All of these bands on me, like it's a lifeline. Conviction for all of my niggas. We pull up in slippers at nighttime. Fucking bitches in the white robes. Let me know that it's the right time. Brother Miles. All my niggas, they be reppin' it. Red bottle when I step in it. Niggas with me, gotta let them in. Soaks with me, that's a definite. Nice with me, that's a definite. Now you met up with the dogs, gotta fuck them all before you meet the president. Walled in, all cleaned up, man, whole clique all bust down. Walled in, got 2 W's, now I look like touchdown. Pulled up in a I-8, with a shirt saying why I hate. Nigga talking, I'ma violate. Bitch, I'm fucking up the tri-state. Conviction for all of my niggas. 2017, we ain't leaving the cent on the table for all of you niggas. We coming for all of the fix. I'm fucking all of you bitches. Don't even call them you bitches. And baby, I'm all nigga bitch. Talk to me nice, set the mood off in there. Still downtown, old crews up in there. All the dogs with me make it hard just to move up in there. Like, is it the right time, baby? Fuck 'em. It's the motherfucker. ST. Yeah. Yeah, I heard word around town, it's a poppin' now. Bad bitch recline my seat before she tie me down. Just invested in 2 choppers and they on me now. Bitch, all you hear is grrr, grrr when I'm hopping out. Put them bitches in the Range Rover. Hit a mission with my niggas, then I change clothes. Niggas running for that paper like Usain Bolt. You hit my bitch, I fuck your girl, that's how the game go. You know how that saying go. Girl, you know I'm popping now. Give me head and make sure you make that shit sloppy now. If you with it, you gon' meet me at the lobby now. Say you never, girl, I know that you are probably down. Now what you talking about? What you talking about? Never do we get it time, but tonight feels right, yeah. What you talking about? Never do we get it time, but tonight feels like the Blue Jays. New Toronto, bitch, we ballin' on your Blu-rays. I've been mobbing around the city for like 2 days. Stashing all this dirty money in the suitcase. Whoa, don't you know that we got plenty choppers? Any bitches out my kitchen cook like Betty Crocker. Niggas say that they gon' rob me, bitch, don't let me stop. Uncle Speedy BMF me down and let it drop. Hit G Weeder on the cell phone. Made that call from Compton, they'll be out on Melrose. Train shooters and they down to touch the railroad. Hit it down to do you colder than the hell snow. Whoa, that should tell you that I'm popping now. When I pull up in that rain, it ain't no talking now. Hating niggas talking payments, but I bought it wow. Reason why when I pull up, them bitches hopping now. Yeah. Now what you talking about? What you talking about? Never do we get it time, but tonight feels right, yeah. What you talking about? Never do we get it time, but tonight feels right, yeah. I'm rolling downtown. I'm legendary with this ballin' like I'm Tim Duncan. Couple shooters in the cutting, yeah, I'm Tim Duncan. We just tryna go legit, my niggas still thuggin'. I got shooter right beside me like I'm Tim Duncan. I got shooters in the cut like I'm Tim Duncan. We just tryna go legit, but niggas still thuggin'. I left the trap and I came back and it was still jumping. Bitch, I deserve a check for ballin' like I'm Tim Duncan. I went out with all the shooters and I'm still jumping. Grandma kicked me out the crib and I was still hustling. I went out to all them corners trying to deal something. If the feds pull me over, I'm gon' peel on them. Yeah. Done no bitch, you done no bitch, you done no. I just pulled the I-8 out the 1-0. Batman got that money, then you done no. If Batman got that money, then you done no. Shooters in the cut like I'm Tim Duncan. Sent my ass to school and I was still flunking. I walk in the trap and I see real nuts. I walk in the trap and I see real nuts. I see real nuts. I walk in the trap and I see real nuts. Tim Duncan. Now I got big scales all up in the trap house. I got big scales all up in the trap house. A bitch from Rexdale trapping on my damn house. I got a next style trapping on my damn house. Yeah, whip 100 bitches like 100 low. I got 200 bitches fucking in a bungalow. I got 2 sisters doing shit that they ain't done before. I ain't no fool, I put that icing on that Dunkin' Donut. Yeah, I do. Okay, I'm okay, but I'm high with some rose. You know it, I don't fly with that foreplay. All them eyes, little mama, don't forget I missed the ring around the rose. Nigga, fuck with me, I bring your thing around the rose. All they on my side, don't let me ring it around your forehead. We gon' make a movie with you, nigga, like we Scorsese. A legendary, we just ballin' like I'm Tim Duncan. Couple shooters in the cut, yeah, I'm Tim Duncan. We just tryna go legit, my niggas still dunking. I got shooter right beside me like I'm Tim Duncan. Full up, yeah, you know I'm with them shooters. All we do is excel with that ooh. Love me, baby, love me like Katrina. Smoking dope, I know I'm awesome. Going Tim Duncan with all of the shooters. With all of the shooters. Cause they call it murder, but we who they callin' to do it. We who they callin' to do it. Love it, baby, love a nigga. Pulling out the lights, stunting on a couple niggas. Only with a couple hitters. Only let a couple bitches cook up in this kitchen, nigga. Hit the liquid on my young niggas. Now my whip is Christy, I'm a Gucci. My wrist and my neck is on burn. Now them niggas thinking that it's Gucci. Niggas talking at you loosely. Dog, I give a fuck about your so-called shooters that'll come and shoot me. It's not what we used to, dog. I be used to this bitch. Fuck on the rob out the roof for them bitches. Fuck the room, ain't got no rules for them bitches. Fuck the room, I got the roof for them bitches. Hot still ain't in the room for them bitches. In the bathroom, through the loom on them bitches. When they lie, I got the proof for them bitches. If she dry, I got some loot for them bitches. Fucking all the mama good. I can tell she from the hood. All I got is Hennessy for and some weed for a couple new. Popping off a couple Jews. Shots us in a couple hoods. Niggas that'll come and watch that. Cooking niggas come and sauce that. Money on the couple tips. It's not that she love me, she wanna fuck with a young nigga that's getting money, motherfucker. Understand the way I get paid, but my nigga, I'm cool. I put that on everything like the sauce, nigga. I be on everything like a boss, nigga. Handling plays just like lacrosse, nigga. Yeah, yo, make that talk, nigga. Fuck around with y'all niggas. Made a man and pull up and just let the dogs up just bite. Know what I'm saying? You let the dogs up just bite now, you feel me? Tell them. Tell them, tell them, tell them, tell them, like that. Tell them, tell them.
Yuri, mic check, Yuri. That don't sound too bad. All right. What's going on? What's happening? Hola. How we doing, amigos? Oh man, it feels good to be at the bar. It feels good to be at the bar. I don't know about you. Hey, bit of relax time, chill out time. Finally. Jesus Christ, been busy. Mm. What's happening? What's happening? CC in the building, 23 in the building, Sister Yemi in the building, Dino in the building, Dino's Bromoni. How we doing, Dino? My man Phil in the building. How we doing, brother? Dr. Bass in the building, Ants in the building. Welcome. Hey, yeah, I've been busy, man. I've been on the tools, the skill saw, the multi-tool, the impact driver, the chisels. Well, not so much the chisel, but, life of a carpenter, skilled carpenter, eh? Life of a skilled carpenter. Jeez. Mm. Oh yes, and Maureen, Dino and Maureen. Can't forget Maureen. Salute Maureen. Salute. So yeah, first of all, 420 if you got that shit. If you got that. Mm. But what's wild about it, right? Even in the mix of working, I still managed to come across some gems, do some research, connect some dots together. And man, oh man, the shit I've come across hidden in plain sight, right? Hidden in plain sight. Told you there's another horse in the race, right? I've been saying this, there's another horse in the race, right? So hopefully Friday we get together and present some of these new findings your boy London's come across. Again, right? Regarding the upper room, the eye, hidden in plain sight. Hidden in plain sight. Yeah, happy to see folks here, man. Happy to see my people here, man. Big up to you guys. Much love. Much love. Much love. Dino from the underworld. Yeah, man. Interesting finds. Interesting. I hope you lot's been well. That's enough about me. I hope everyone else has been well. Everyone's fine in spirit, at least. Your physical form is okay. At least you need that physical body to navigate. I hope you're in good health. Something I wanted to have a little look at. Oh yeah, by the way, open panel if anyone wants to come up and
Don't feel shy. But yeah, let's get into something real quick.
Honor to speak with you. I have been going through your books and your profile, your resume. Awesome. Thank you for your service. It sounds like you've had a ton of fun along the way. And I'm even wearing the Air Force hat right now. So I got to say, I want to believe too, man. I'm looking at your poster. I want to believe. I got into this in hopes of finding solid evidence and data that we're not alone. And, you know, it's been a mixed bag. I've talked to people that are absolutely genuine. They've had experiences that will blow your mind that they can't explain. I can't explain. And then I've talked to people that are not so much. So just to say that. So like clearly you went from a very tight knit community and to get into the paranormal aspects of things, I find that fascinating. I know a lot of people in the military that are the same, but like, what got you into that? Why did you start researching UFOs and ETs so much with your position in the military? Real quick, check out these statistics. Gold, it's gone up about 81% the past.
Okay, so
And tell us a little bit about yourself.
yeah, I I have to say it started before. It started when I was a little kid. I've always been
What's behind them? The UFO, right? But we already know that's the lens, right? That's the lens. Let's keep going.
open to a greater reality, I guess you could say. I had seen things from a young age. I mean, for example, I do remember when I was 5 years old, I saw demons in my bedroom and terrified me. And I remember asking my brother, what was that word that pastor said one time when we were in church with grandma and to make the demons go away? I used to think the word was rebuke, right? That rebuke was like a magic word that you could yell at a demon to make it go away. And because I could not remember that word when I saw those things in the room. And so I had seen that dark side of the reality with my own eyes at a very young age. And I knew that there was something there. And I attended church with my great grandmother and for the most part kind of tuned out, playing with whatever on the pew there next to her or whatever when I was a little kid. But I probably got more out of the Bible from my great grandmother, just like reading me and my brother stories about Daniel and Goliath, David and Goliath, and Daniel in the lion's den and stuff like that. So I had that little taste of Christianity from my great grandparents because they were both firm believers. They were missionaries. Well, I wouldn't say missionaries; they were ministers. A minister team during the Great Depression, and for many years they traveled the whole United States preaching the gospel. And they did the big tent revivals and all of that. So they were all about Jesus, Pentecostal, the tongues, miracles, that kind of thing. And grandma had some supernatural encounters herself in her life. And I would have never doubted my great grandmother. For example, she said an angel saved her life once. She was choking from carbon monoxide poisoning, asked God for help. Her bedroom door opened. Some guy walked into her room, grabbed her, rolled her over, and she could breathe again. And all that carbon monoxide was flushed out of the room. He turned around and walked out. The interesting thing about him is she said he was a military type soldier. He was wearing a kind of military uniform and he had a helmet with a spike on the top, like a pickle hob helmet. So interesting description there. But he was seemed to be like a flesh and blood person, just walked into her room and rolled her over. She jumped out of bed and ran into the living room, and the front door was locked with a chain across it. And she had no idea how he got in. So she was like, well, that was an angel. He looked like this. He didn't have wings. But I prayed to God and he walked in and saved me. So she was very convinced that he was an angel. Grandma also had another experience. So when she was in her 60s, she almost died of a stroke. And She was in a hospital, paralyzed on the left side of her body. She couldn't talk. And the doctors were like, not sure if she would even walk again. It was so serious, it almost killed her. And while she was there in the hospital, she said Jesus himself walked into her hospital room. And he was like glowing and just amazing. And he looked at her and he smiled and he turned around and walked out. And when he smiled at her, the left side of her body came back and she could talk and everything like nothing ever happened. So she had a miraculous healing at that time. She told everybody about it, and I'm sure her church heard all about it. She was in a ministry team in the church, prayed for people all the time and stuff. And I'm sure on this occasion, probably the whole church was praying for her, and this is what happened. So I heard these stories and stuff, and I had this kind of connection with another, spiritual side of reality, but I also saw demons myself. So I had seen both sides of the spectrum on this at a very young age, like 5 years old.
Let me ask a quick question about that. What did the demons look like?
Okay, so these demons, it's ridiculous. These didn't have horns or anything. They looked like they were about 2.5 feet long or so. Imagine a person with a sheet over their head with black holes cut, and then this frowning mouth. No real kind of definition of a nose, but just this frowning mouth and these sort of dark eyes that go down. And it was like this transparent greenish color, the whole thing. So, and they were kind of semi-transparent, and they were like this glowy greenish color. And it started out, I saw 4 or 5 of them. I woke up, I was asleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw these things just floating around the room, just kind of dodging all over the place. And when I noticed them, I was like, what is that? They became aware that I was awake, and then they started rushing into my face like this and doing these little diving down into my face just to get up into my face and scare me. And they emitted like a supernatural fear. And as soon as they noticed me, more and more started to flood the room, and there was like 30 or 40 of them. The room was just totally infested with these things flying all over the place. I tried to get out of the bed. I tried to scream. My brother was on the other side of the room asleep. When I opened my mouth, I couldn't, like, all that came out was just very lightest whisper. I couldn't, my vocal cords were disabled. I tried to move. They were paralyzing me. I couldn't move. And I stayed awake for like the next 3 hours, terrified. And every time I opened my eyes, they were still there. And then it would flood up into my face. And I just kept periodically cracking my eyes open to see if they were still there. And they just would not go away for hours. And I was terrified the whole night. Well, for several hours that night, until the first rays of dawn popped through the window. And then they started disappearing after that. And once the sunlight was up, they were gone. And then I was able to I was released from my paralysis and able to get up. But I know I wasn't dreaming because I was awake the whole time, trying to get up and fighting the paralysis the whole time for about 3 hours or so. So that was horrible. And I had seen other things over the years, but because of this, my sister had this, kind of unusual fascination with the paranormal. And, she tried messing around with a Ouija board with a friend once, and the pointer flew across the room and slammed against the door, and she freaked and screamed and ran out of there. But she was always the daredevil, wanting to, hey, let's go into the back room and see if Grandpa's ghost is back there, and see if we could talk to him or make something happen. So we had different experiences with my sister as well. And my sister has just this insane experience when she lived on an island in the middle of the Mississippi River. And this is kind of lore of my family, right? my great grandmother, going back to her, people understood, like, hearing a story from her, like about seeing an angel or encountering Jesus. This is kind of expected for a person that spends their life in ministry. But I do remember when I was 5 years old, this was back in 1975, there was a family gathering at her house. So it was either Christmas or Thanksgiving. And grandma was reading a newspaper while there were all these animated conversations going around in the living room. And grandma suddenly raised her hand and said, "Okay, everybody be quiet. I have an announcement to make to the whole family." And this is kind of unusual. So everybody was quiet. And then grandma read this article in the newspaper. It was about a UFO that had come down into Madera County, and there was a wild goose chase between the police and this UFO all over the countryside. So the following year, of course, the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out, and that opening scene in the movie where there's a UFO and the cops are chasing it all over the place. The scene she read in this newspaper matched that scene in the movie exactly. But grandma's story was a year before Close Encounters of the Third Kind was produced. So we had never heard of this story, right? And me being only 5 years old, I'm kind of like, what's this all about, you know? And after grandma reads the story, I notice I'm seeing people's faces and they're kind of like puzzled, right? Why is grandma reading this story? And she lowered the paper and said, "When I was a little girl, me and my sister saw a UFO." And so she starts telling a story about how she saw this, what do you call it? Cigar-shaped UFO that was above the plains of Kentucky. They lived out in the middle of nowhere. And they had never even seen a vehicle before. They had a wagon pulled by horses. So they had no frame of reference for what they were looking at. And this thing flew by right in front of them so close that they even saw the guy inside. It was a transparent bubble on the top. He turned his head and looked at him as he flew by. And then he went over these bluffs and then zipped off into the upper atmosphere and disappeared in the blink of an eye. They were shocked and they went back. They told their mom. Their mom told them never to tell anybody that story ever again. And, don't argue with mom, just shut it. And a couple of years after that, grandma's sister died. So she had this story to herself. And I guess reading this newspaper some 70 years later, it all came rushing back and she just had to get it off of her chest. Hey, you know what? I saw that and those things are real. I don't care what people think. And
what year would that have been in? Do you know?
Oh, probably like around 1910, something like that.
Wow.
Grandma was a little kid. My great grandmother was a little kid.
Did she say what the guy looked like or the
No, unfortunately, I was only 5 years old. So I was still just processing this story and like not thinking of questions like, was he, what kind of a humanoid was he bald? Did he have hair? Was he human looking or different looking? Was the head unusually sized? Anything like that. But no, she just said we saw the guy inside and he turned and looked at us when he flew by. So they were close enough to see a humanoid type head turn and look at him, look at them as he flew by. And so I was pumping my mom with questions about, on the way home. And we used to watch Star Trek. So that was an easy tie-in. Mom just said, well, Star Trek, right? That's probably a lot more real than what most people think. I mean, look at space, the stars. And of course, I did a little more research on that. I believe Hubble's telescope last estimate that I looked at was 70 septillion stars. And then each star, one or more planets. So more than 70 septillion, you're getting around decillion. We don't have a number for that. That's a 7 with 22 zeros after it. If you were to take a single grain of sand off the beach and then Ask yourself, how many would 70 septillion be? More than the planet is 70 septillion. Probably more than our entire solar system would be 70 septillion grains of sand. That's how vast our cosmos is, incomprehensibly vast. So to suggest that this is the only planet with life on it, in my opinion, takes more faith to believe in that than to believe that there's life out there somewhere. And honestly think that I believe that in extraterrestrial life even more now because of the Bible rather than in spite of it. Which is kind of weird because, I mean, I looked at Christianity Today, an article yesterday, what they say about ET life, and they like stay right up front. The Bible doesn't say one way or another if there's life in the heavens, when it literally states it with terms like the host of heaven. That term, the host of heaven, is mentioned 18 times in the Bible. Host meaning large number of life forms. Heaven is a plural word in the Bible, and it has 3 definitions if you look it up in Strong's Enhanced Lexicon, which gives you the Hebrew and the Greek and the different translations. Shamim in Hebrew is a plural word. In most instances in the Bible, it's used 657 times, and in most instances, it refers to the abode of the sun and the moon and the stars. And it's first defined in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. So the word heaven is a huge misnomer because we say it all the time. We associate up with going to heaven. And when angels come down to earth, they come from the sky. So first heaven is the sky immediately surrounding the earth. Second heaven is outer space. Third heaven is where God's throne is, which is in outer space. So all 3 heavens are associated with up. Digging deeper into the Bible and also adding in some quantum theory in terms of what we understand of our reality now. Our universe is multidimensional. It's layers of existence. Atomic particles, they vibrate at different frequencies. And if you were to change your atomic vibrational frequency, you would pop out of this dimension, but you would either go into a higher dimension or a lower dimension, but you would still be composed of a physical atomical, structure. Your atoms are multidimensional themselves. So it's the nature of our universe and the nature of matter and energy and the way that we understand it now with quantum physics. We're getting to the point where we can comprehend things that we call spiritual in a theological context, but that doesn't mean non-physical. It shouldn't be confused with being non-physical. A lot of Christians think of spiritual as just purely non-physical and nothing to do with this reality, but that's actually not true. It's not biblically accurate. Heaven, the highest heaven, is God's throne. And Bible actually literally associates a physical location with God's throne as being in the direction of north.
Boom. God's throne, north. They speak about the true north in some of those 18th century readings that I've been finding. The true north was the UK, England. That's what the fixed north was. The fixed north was the UK, Ireland, England. I bet you guys didn't know that. Apparently, that was the fixed north. It's right at the top, right? Never moves.
When Satan led his attack into God's kingdom, he left from the earth. He ascended above the clouds into the second heaven and headed toward God's throne in the sides of the north. That's in Isaiah 14.
He ascended from the heaven, right? to attack. He ascended from the heaven, right? Where have I told you the heaven is? Sorry, he ascended from the earth to the heaven. He ascended from the earth to the heaven, right? To attack.
14. So, and the book of Psalms in Psalm 75, and in another area, it says that heaven is associated with north, the direction of north. So it's in the northern hemisphere. God has a planet out there. It's a glorified planet. If we were to travel there, we might not perceive his realm because we're in our dimension. But if we were to travel there and then increase our dimensional frequency, then we would see this glorified planet with cities and rivers and trees.
The glorified planet. Glorified planet, right? That's the UK. Remember, it's the outer orbit, the outer orbit, right? That's how they described it. So it's out of the globular, right? It's out of Earth's orbit. That's the heaven they're talking about. Ireland, England, UK.
And everything that the Bible describes it with. Heaven is described as a physical planet. It has clouds. There's lightning and stuff. It has all these physical objects. It has a city. It has people, animals, trees, a river. It couldn't have mountains and all of these things if it's not a planet. So the highest heaven is a planet where God's throne is. Second heaven is outer space, the heavens, it's plural. A lot of planets out there are glorified.
See how they could look. You got to remember, if they're talking about space, they're talking about the globe, the orbit. That's the eye, baby, the globe and the orbit, right? Now, if God's throne is in that place, they're talking about Ireland, UK. It's outer orbit, right? Outer orbit. I told you guys on the landing of the Titan, right? Remember that footage when I showed you guys when it had the thing that looked like bar? Remember? I might have to show you that again. But when they landed on Titan, I showed you guys the pictures of the UK and Europe, right? So they're showing you that's the outer orbit, man. Pay attention.
Planets. So they're in a higher dimension, and some planets are of a lower glory, so they're in a lower dimension. Every planet is multidimensional. And what I mean by that is we live in a layered existence. I have a graphic that I can show kind of depicting this. Let's see if I can share my screen and just kind of explain it. So you see here is second heaven, outer space.
Look at that. It's in the corner, the lens. They got the UFO, the lens. Oh gosh. I didn't even get that far. I didn't even see that. Okay. Look. Bang. Bang. Jeez. It's either they know or they don't know. You dig? Huh? It's either they know or they don't know. The lens, right? In plain sight, look. Different. Jen in the building. How we doing? How we doing? Welcome. Oh, we just cooking. We cooking over here, man. You know, nothing new. Nothing new.
Right. And then Earth is right here. We're Middle Earth, right? Just imagine this is our planet. Hell is in the heart of the Earth in a lower dimension. It's a smaller planet. Really crappy place. A lot of fire, torment. The beings that live there are not nice. It used to have a part in it that was nice, called Abraham's bosom. And also
In my opinion, this diagram, what they're showing here, that's probably the skull in its in this type of form. You've got the skull and you've got the eye and you'll have possibly the brain, because that's the inner planes of hell, right? So that would be, I'm guessing, the, what's it called, the cerebellum part, right? That part right there. That's that right there. Let me take a snapshot. Second. Yeah. Okay.
The place of the righteous dead, but after Jesus died on the cross, it says that he actually went down there and he released those captives. So it was in a place that wasn't torment, but they were still stuck there. And then there's this outer layer where in a higher dimension, Earth is a bigger planet, about, I estimate, 272 times bigger.
Hmm.
And I base that on the size of the city that's going to be transported to Earth in the future. In the book of Revelation, it says, after the Battle of Armageddon and after all this stuff happens, God is going to relocate his capital of the universe, called New Jerusalem, where it's currently at, and he's going to relocate it to Earth. And this
Relocating civilizations. Are they talking about on a macro level? Hey, Dino, what did that sound like, Dino? Don't that sound like the boy James Terrell discussing about moving something with the fulcrum? Don't that sound like that? Moving new cities, Dino. The fulcrum. Remember that part with James Terrell? That's what it sounds like they're describing.
city, the dimensions are given. It's 1,500 miles long, 1,500 miles wide, 1,500 miles high.
1,500 miles, 1,500 miles, 1,500 miles, 1,500 miles.
Earth is not big enough to accommodate a city that's 1,500 miles high. Mount Everest is 5 miles high. This is 1,500 miles high.
That's a good point.
Earth is massive in this higher dimension. And the entire universe itself is probably expanded out and much larger. Multiverse, I should call it. And these are the 3 scriptures that talk about the location of this New Jerusalem right now. And it's in the sides of the north. Promotion comes from the north, from God. And in Isaiah, far reaches of the north, this is where God's throne is. It's a glorified planet with a physical city. If it wasn't physical, you couldn't transport that city to Earth in the future. So I'm seeing all of these cool issues here in the Bible that, because I'm studying and I'm in school, and at the same time, I'm reading the Bible, and I also had this like encyclopedic knowledge of paranormal things in my head. And like I told you, when I was a little kid, I was asking my mom, and she told me, well, there's probably life out there just like Star Trek. So my enjoyment of that show and others like it increased over time. And I really got into wanting to know more and more about unknown things. My mom, she actually got this encyclopedic set, World Life or something like that. I forget what it was. I actually have it written down here, but it was an encyclopedia of the paranormal. And I read all these books from cover to cover, right? And from when I was a little kid. So like at 10 years old, I could tell you about psychometry and retro recognition, perceiving into the past, advanced concepts of like, is it a ghost you're seeing, or are you replaying a recording? And it's like stuck in the atmosphere. Cursed objects, and all kinds of different paranormal things. So I was always kind of that way, and very interested into that. And I wasn't raised in a Christian home. So like my great grandmother and my great grandfather, they were very much believers. But my mom was this hippie type, she would say she believed in God and stuff. She had a respect for Jesus. But as far as like understanding the gospel and all of that and really wrapping her head around all of that, not so much. And my dad, he was more like, he would just joke about being a pagan and stuff. So he was mostly agnostic. So it's kind of like the 60s came, and then that fundamental, that Christian Bible Belt heritage that passed on somewhat to my grandmother, Ruth. And then in the 60s came, and then my dad and my mom were just kind of like, no, well, we're going to kind of do our own thing. We're not going to go to church or do that kind of thing. So a lot of people did that back then, and breaking away from traditional norms and stuff. And society radically changed in the 60s and had been progressively changing ever since. So I was raised in my mom's house. She was just open-minded and free-thinking about everything. And then she saw how interested I was in the paranormal. So she got this series of books and stuff, and like, just, maybe you'll read and it'll be healthy for you to read. And so I'm reading about all this stuff, and later it turned into experimentation and ghost hunting and attempting to astral project and channel spirits and all kinds of things that I experimented with, Ouija boards and stuff. And then I went into the Army, and probably one of the more profound experiences I had was in the jungle. So I was active duty Army, M60 gunner, and then they had the Panamanian conflict broke out, and they deployed me to Panama during the conflict. And we were guarding the perimeter at Fort Sherman, and there's a jungle out there. They literally have their own zoo based on the animals that they caught around the base. They didn't need a fence around this base because it was jungle, and you'd be insane to go through that jungle. I mean, we did land navigation, but you could only go like maybe 100 meters or so, because there were areas where, you would see like 50, 60 yards of like a patch, a meadow of moving ground. And it would be like 1 inch to 2 inches thick of ants just carpeting the ground. You can't walk through there. You wouldn't dream of walking through that. And you would, honestly, you'd have to run. You don't know if there's a pit somewhere in there. Vegetation would sometimes blanket the ground, and there would be these pits, and you wouldn't see it until you were falling in it. And then they also have pit vipers, a type of snake that likes to inhabit those areas. So you would literally be falling into a pit full of deadly snakes. They had bushmaster snakes that would chase you. Everything in that jungle wanted to hurt you or kill you. The plants, a lot of the plants had toxins in them. So if you just lean against a plant or walk through the brush and some of the leaves brush against your skin, you're suddenly itching like crazy, breaking out. Or some plants, they had a plant that would burn you. You just brush it against your skin, and your arm is burning. So, and then thorns everywhere. And then these insects were like prehistoric, very inhospitable place. But they put us to guard the perimeter of this base by stationing us throughout this jungle around the back end of this base. And they also have otherworldly things in that jungle, because I saw this glowing ball of light that was flashing on and off intermittently. And it was apparently very interested in our location and what the heck we were doing out there, because it made a beeline straight for my area where I was at with my team leader. And when it reached us, it stopped. It was about 30 feet up in the trees, and it was the size of a soccer ball. I have my night vision, and I'm looking through these night vision goggles, and when it's not flashing, it's completely invisible. It's not making any noise. It's like it's not there. But it would flash on like a blink about once every 30 seconds. And I'm just like totally captivated by this thing, because I'm like going through my Rolodex, like It's not swamp gas. That's not ball lightning. What is that? Closest I got was maybe a will-o'-the-wisp from playing Dungeons and Dragons with some friends. I knew all of the creatures and stuff in the books, and which is based on lore, and it kind of ties into my cryptid research that I've done. So a lot of those creatures in the Dungeons and Dragons books come from like cryptid legends and stuff, and then also ancient legends. But will-o'-the-wisp is, I believe, a legend that comes from the Druids over in the United Kingdom, ancient England area. But apparently, there's a version of that that was in Panama because it was acting exactly like that thing, trying to evoke my curiosity. But it just seemed to me kind of like it was curious. And of course, in the Army, my paranormal proclivities didn't earn me any favors. They used to make fun of me a lot, tease me a lot. I had nicknames and stuff because of my interest in the paranormal. And the guy who was the leader of the pack, tormenting and mocking me all the time, he happened to be with me on this guard duty night with this ball of light. And I thought, well, this is interesting. Now he's on my turf. And so I wake him up and I say, it's time for your shift. By the way, there's this glowing ball of light over here. And he thinks that I'm joking, and he starts cussing me out until the thing flashes. And I said, I'm not kidding. There's really something here, and it's transdimensional because you can't see it through night vision. You can't hear it, but it's there. And I know nothing of any sort in a biology textbook that describes something that looks like a ball of light, size of a soccer ball, that you can't see unless it's flashing on. I mean, it more or less resembles a physical phenomenon like ball lightning, but it's not acting like ball lightning.
That's what I was thinking. Ball lightning. I saw a video the other day where this ball lightning went across a railroad track, and the way that it did it, I'm just like, that is so bizarre. Is that really just ball lightning? And it probably really was just ball lightning, but it looked like it was supernatural. It was amazing.
Yes. There might be some instances of ball lightning that aren't just ball lightning, but ball lightning doesn't flash on and off. It doesn't blink. Ball lightning it's like a perpetual ball of light, and it zips around and then it hits something and dissipates. It's electricity. It's not blink over here, blink over here, blink over there. When it shows up, it's erratic and it's sort of zipping around. I've seen they can create ball lightning in a lab, these little tiny balls of light, and it bounces around on a plate and then it hits something and dissipates. Really interesting. But this was not acting like that at all. And I had an M60 on and 750 rounds of ammo. This thing's not, it actually stopped instead of coming to me and hitting the weapon. I also had a radio with a 6-foot whip antenna that kind of was like a lightning rod, and the backpack it was in had several spare large lithium batteries. None of this stuff was attracting it. I took off my M60 though, just in case. I didn't want to, press my luck. My team leader was freaking out, and I'm like, what? I can't shoot it. It's a ball of light. And I don't know where it's going to pop up next, initially anyway. He was freaking out, and he was trying to kind of speculate. He's like, maybe it's a laser from the aircraft carrier. And I'm like, laser requires a straight line of sight, and this thing is down in the trees. You see what it's doing. This thing is also acting like it's sentient. It came straight here to our position, and then it stopped, and it's parked right there. And it's observing us. And I said to him at that point, I'm going to try to talk to it. And he's yelling at me no, and I'm like, there's no way I'm passing this up. This is first contact in my book, I mean, I get to be James T. Kirk here. So I go out into a little bit of a clearing there next to my position, and I introduce myself. I tell it that, you know, despite the weapons and stuff, I have disarmed myself and I come in peace. I have nothing against it. I am just wanting to know more about what this thing is, and, you know, can you please reveal yourself to me? Um, I'm here trying to understand you. And it stopped blinking at that point, kind of like it was processing. And I suddenly had this feeling come over me, um, like a presence. And it's that feeling of being watched, but more so because it was transmitting to me with such intensity that I felt exactly where it was located. I could feel its presence as if I were looking at it. And then I felt it moving toward me. And it was really intimidating because this presence was extremely powerful. And I was kind of somewhat regret.
Saturn 23.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm good. Good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Mm. You've been enjoying the video so far? You've been taking it in, I suppose?
Yeah, I would say the last 5 minutes have been pretty interesting. Really something.
You know, it's gotten to the point now, right? I just want to hear people's wildest thoughts, their wildest dreams, things they've experienced now. I'm open to everything, you know, but take things with a pinch of salt, you understand?
I do.
Because the shit I've been coming across is just blowing my mind. So I need to hear things to make sure I'm still in touch with reality to some degree. Make sure I'm not going crazy myself.
I hear you.
Crazy. But yeah, big up to you, man. I'm gonna keep playing this,
Thank you.
right?
You too, man.
Regretting that I initiated contact. So I was starting to get afraid, like, oh crap, it's moving, it's moving, it's moving toward me. And I took a couple of steps backward, and the corporal was watching me, and he was kind of distancing himself from me. He didn't want to be any part of this. Like, I told you not to. I told you not to, dumbass. And but I tried to calm myself down, and I lifted the goggles up, and I said, I feel it moving. I don't know how I feel it. I don't know how I know where it's at, but I do know where it's at. And I moved the goggles up. The thing flew right over my head. I felt it, and it's like the hair on my head just kind of, I felt like a tingly, like staticky feeling, right? This thing was extremely powerful. And it flew right over the top of my head. I did a 180, and I was completely looking in the opposite direction. And I said, the next time it flashes, it's going to flash right there. When I pointed and said the word there, it flashed exactly where I pointed. So it was kind of letting me know I sort of understand what you're saying. In a way, I think that that's what it was kind of conveying to me. Plus, it was transmitting to me its location telepathically. And I don't know how it did it. It wasn't a normal language. It wasn't a normal communication like talking. It didn't do anything like totally over the top, you know, transform into a person and, hey, let's sit down and have an MRE together, you know. Nothing crazy like that. It just, it let me know that I am here, I'm alive, you know, I'm curious about you or whatever. And it transmitted to me its location, and it was moving around, and I could literally feel it moving like it was attached to me somehow. It continued to, after it was behind us, then it did a full 360 sweep of our location, flashing, and it did a complete circle around our perimeter, almost like it wanted to get a look at us from every side. And then it proceeded off down the jungle, and we had 2 other positions in the jungle, and it did the same thing with both of them. And then off it went back into the jungle. So according to the legend of Will-O-the-Wisp, these things are supposed to evoke your curiosity and try to get you to follow them. And then if you do, you fall into a pit or you die or something. It's not known to be a good creature from legend. However, in my opinion, this thing just seemed more like a curious animal, the behavior, the way, you know, it just showed up. But I honestly, to this day, I have no idea. Could have been an alien probe or something for all I know, with some sort of sentience attached to it.
Could have been a
Um,
Russian probe, man.
Whatever it was capable of transmitting to me its location telepathically. That's pretty advanced.
That's really cool. And it, you know, it could also be just an ancient Earth being of some
Oh,
kind.
an elemental,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
they're one of the more common encounters for people who do ghost hunting or paranormal stuff or whatever. You know, the orb is like probably top of the list. You know, there's a few things that people have seen or experienced a lot, you know, or captured on video. Is you see orbs on video a lot and stuff like that. But this thing was incredibly powerful, because when it flashed on, it had the brightness and intensity of a camera flash. I mean, if you were looking at it, you were blinded. I suspect it was illuminating the jungle possibly as much as maybe a half a mile out. The guys in the other position might have seen it from our position. They were hundreds of yards away.
So
But
what is your commanding officer? Sorry to interrupt. I'm just thinking, like, your commanding officer, you said, right? Is the skeptic. You wake up and
no,
now
he was my team leader.
team leader.
And
Okay. So what's he doing?
that's even more puzzling. So the next day I brought it up because nobody was saying anything. And I waited for the other two teams to come in, and we all you know, we all coalesced into one area, and we were getting our stuff ready to go back into the base. And I'm like wondering if anybody's going to say anything. You know, like, why is no one saying anything, right? So I finally opened my mouth. You know, let's address the elephant in the room. Did any of you guys see that thing that came around our perimeter last night? Corporal Stinger, you saw it. You saw me try to communicate with it. You saw what happened. You saw how it flashed when I pointed and said it was where it was going to flash. And he's just looking at me. And then I said to the other guys, I said, did you see something? And then one of the guys from the other site, and I said, were you on guard duty leading up to right before midnight? Because that was around the time this thing came up. And he's like, oh, I think I saw something, like, like maybe a firefly or something. I'm like, dude, firefly? We've been seeing fireflies every night when we're here. This was the size of a soccer ball, and it lit up the whole jungle. Firefly doesn't do that, and you know it. He's like, well, yeah, I kind of saw something, I think. And another guy is like, yeah, I seem to remember something. I'm like, well, if you had to be asleep on duty if you didn't. And he's like, yeah, they weren't talking about it. They did say that they saw something, but they didn't want to give any details. And I said, well, I talked to the darn thing, and I felt it moving around. It somehow, you know, and should we report it? You know, I mean, what do you think? I mean, what the heck was that? And my team leader spoke up, and he said, I know exactly what it was. And I'm like, what? You know, what did you hear? And he says, that was something in the jungle, and it came here because you summoned it. And then they started joking like I'm a wizard and that I was casting spells and all this stupid stuff. And because I played Dungeons and Dragons too. So then it turned into a roast, right? And they're all just creating these new jokes and then belittling me and mocking me even more and more and more. And I'm like, but it's real. I mean, you guys saw it. I mean, how can you joke about this? And they just kept joking. And then I couldn't really say anything about it because that would just invite more ridicule, right? So I was like, it's, you know, they didn't want to report it. And I'm not going to go over anybody's head to try to report something like that because I was already considered the weirdo. So if anybody's going to report a UFO, okay, fine, you know, a UFO or an entity or something, you know, it would be me to do it. And then they would all make fun of me and, you know, ridicule me about it. And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not going to go there." So that kind of ended there in terms of, you know, trying to see what we were going to do about it. You know, nobody was interested to report anything.
They were concerned about getting ridiculed, it sounds like.
Oh, probably, you know, they have no problem dishing it out, but nobody wants to have that to themselves.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Wow.
yeah, after the Army,
Interesting.
I went into this downward kind of spiral myself, you know, into the party life and stuff. I went into college, and I guess it was during one of the lowest times of my life, though I wasn't really aware of it, but things were kind of spiraling out of control. And I remember one night I had a dream that it changed me. I mean, I literally, it was like Ebenezer Scrooge, right? Where he goes to bed and he's encountering these beings that are showing them his life and different things going on in his life and giving him these different perspectives. And then he wakes up and he is like so radically different the next day. Everybody that sees him is like shocked and is like, "Who is this dude?" I had a dream like that.
Wow. John is talking about stuff that is next level. And you want to listen to this in full over on our Patreon page. John gets into several other topics of discussion that, okay, so let me just give you some examples here. How would you like to know about a massive underground base in Antarctica?
George
How would you like to know more about trans-dimensional beings? How about...
All right, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Interesting, though. Very interesting. What 20 have you got that shit? Oh, yeah. Light that up.
I saw something one time, for real. Like, I feel bad, you know, that guy seems to be associating trauma.
What did you see?
Different ways, but I actually saw it was kind of like it kind of looked like a shooting star, right? And it was like green. And me and my one buddy, I'll call him a normie because he definitely is, which makes me one. So anyway, we walk in. We're starting to walk into this mall. We're like 20, and I remember it was above Sears. I remember Sears. There's this company called Sears. I think it's funny, SEARS. And this green, it kind of like ended up like kind of looking like a bottle rocket. I don't know if you've ever seen a bottle rocket.
Battle rocket? No, not a battle rocket.
A bottle.
A bottle rocket. Okay.
Bottle.
Bottle.
Bottle rocket.
Bottle rocket. No, what is that? Like a firework or something?
Yeah, or like they call them Roman candlesticks even.
Oh, yes, I know Roman candles, yes.
And it was like a green one, and it kind of fizzled, but it wasn't really. It was like this thing came out of somewhere. Like me and my one buddy, I was like, "You see that thing?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I remember like I just didn't want to talk about it after that because I was going to see like what happened. But like that was it, you know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. I remember seeing, couldn't say it was a shooting star, but I was in the middle of a conversation with somebody, and at that moment I looked up and I seen something flash, but as I seen it flash, my head was already in a motion of coming back down to look at the person I was talking to, and by the time I looked back up again, it like disappeared. If you understand what I'm
That's
saying?
kind of what it was.
Yeah, yeah. I looked up and I see it go, but my head was already going back down in a split second. And then by the time I was back up, it was gone. But I
Did they
know I
see it?
saw what I saw.
Do you
Pardon?
think? Did they see it?
No, because they was talking to me, like directed their attention to me. But at that moment, I looked up and I seen it, but my head was already coming back down. It was a split second thing, like at least a second or and a half.
Yeah.
Right, I remember that, and it's crazy because I think I was in the middle of like moving. If I remember correctly, I was moving to a location that I was moving at that time, and I was speaking to somebody about something, and I remember I looked up and it went, but my head was already coming back down, and I tried to look up again, and it was gone. Yeah, I never forget that.
I'll tell you the craziest experience I ever had. I'll try to do it very quickly. I was out one night, and but I was also like doing a lot of studying. Like this was just like a night to like go out, and I felt like I'd been putting in a lot of work. Like not that I deserved any answers, but that like I'm definitely looking for them, you know. And you know, I think I'm definitely doing my best to put in the work. So I'm out and I see these shooting stars, and let's see, can I say this? I basically had one. Let's see if I can say it. Yeah, I could say this. The thing that I thought was, I just want to know more about the universe. So that was it. And then I went back to this place and consumed a beautiful pineapple type strain. Actually, it was Pineapple Express. And practiced breath for like 20 minutes. And so I don't know if anyone's ever had this happen to them, but
Hey, hold on. Your audio, you hold on.
uh-oh.
You hold on. You're back now. You're back.
Okay. So I don't
Well,
know if anyone's ever had this happen to them, but you practice your breath enough, and you kind of like do these little counts, and you basically become your breath in a way. And essentially, what happened was a overwhelming sense of calmness and relief. Like I'm talking like something that made me feel like I haven't felt like this in years. Like anxieties and stresses, dude, were just melted away. And I could like you could like navigate, or I don't know, my phone's about to die or whatever, but I'll just leave it to be continued. I didn't realize I was going to end up telling a little bit of this. So
yeah, you're good.
yeah,
Good, man. Your respect for jumping up, though. Salutes to that.
it's just a rebuttal.
That's it. Like I said, I've been working for the last few days. My body's just killing. Like I said, cool. Now it's time to chill out, get the people up, see what's going on, have a little smoke, see where it takes us. But I found some interesting things while I've been away. Hidden in
Oh yeah.
plain sight. Hidden in plain sight. Hidden in plain sight. There's a map that's been floating around. I've noticed it, right? But everyone's just looking at the flat Earth side of it. But it's got a whole different ball game when you look to the left of this map. Right? I'm gonna present it on Friday, so make sure you're around.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait. Thank you so much. Phone's gonna rest in peace here pretty soon, but be well. Thank you.
Nice 123. Yeah, man, big up. Appreciate that. Every little helps. Every little help. So where we at with it? I wanted to show you guys. Okay. I can't even show that one yet. Yeah, sure, Jim.
Ain't time because you got to leave your tools out for the next day. See what I'm saying? You can't be fighting to do that. You can't build a great monument. They didn't build this stuff in one day. It took hundreds of years sometimes to build this stuff. That means they have to leave their tools out and come back to that work. How can you be fighting and do that if we wasn't on one accord? You see what I'm saying? So whatever our belief system was, even though we had different types of belief system, they consisted of a man, they consisted of a woman, and they consisted of a child. Even if they were different. You had some people in Africa that believed, and I want you to go look this guy up, believed in Horus, or I want to call him by his proper name, Haru. See? You had another group of people that believed in a god named Khnum. Never heard of these dudes before. You had another group of people that believed in a god named Bes. It's unfortunate that the concept that we have about these gods, we only have them under Western European thought. See, that's what's sad. I would love to find out what the real concept of these. See, we can only do so much research because they control everything. But guess what? In closing, and we'll get, in later, these are your gods. See, that existed before. These are your gods. I'm not saying go home and get a statue and start worshiping them, but I'm saying find out the concepts. And I promise you, when you find out the concepts of these guys, it's going to resemble what you've been taught. When you find out a story about Horus, you're going to be surprised how it resembles Jesus. When you find out a story about Khnum, you're going to be surprised on where they got the concept of Adam and Eve and him being made out of the dust of the ground, where that come from. All right? Best. You're gonna be surprised. You're gonna be surprised when you find out about Isis and how she resembles Mary. See? And her husband, Osiris. But I'm gonna call him his real name, Osiris. You're gonna be surprised, or her real name, Aset. You're gonna be surprised how it resembles the Jesus story. You're gonna be surprised on how it resembles the Cain and Abel story with him and his brother Seth. These were all before the Bible. These were all before the Quran. And the characters in this particular story look like me and it looked like you. I'd rather check this story out with characters that look like me than to check out their story. Because every Sunday school book that I opened up had Europeans in it. And there's no way that Europeans could have walked in the sun and, did the things that Jesus and his disciples did without getting skin cancer.
In a way, he's making sense, when you check out the storyline. When you go back to who had the more, you could say advanced civilization, who was thriving more, they probably could tell you more of the story. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying. And most of the stuff that I've been coming across is from the Arabic side of things, the 18th century, all of that stuff as well. And even down to the 8th century. That would be the Islamic side of stuff. It's not like the European stuff. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, brother.
I see what you're saying, man.
If you follow the generation line, Jesus of the Bible, the apostles, most were all of African descent, and I can prove it according to the book.
Okay. Yeah, they all African. Yeah, well, that's proven. And it is proven. This is the whole thing. Understand
Which
something.
is cool because even for those that believe the words of the book, you can still, whoever put all of this together, still made it applicable to African people. According to scripture, according to the genealogy, Jesus or Yeshua was African, undisputed.
Oh yeah, if he existed, he was African. Yeah, but see, it was only two people that existed back then. It was either colored people or not colored people. That's just
But you know what? But like he's saying, it's all African descent and all connect to you. But what the problem is, they make you think that God was outside of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole point of it.
Right.
So where you like worshiping some other being, because like I used to talk to my mother about it. Back in the day, you thought Jesus was white.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So now it doesn't matter. But at some point, it was important to somebody to make him be white. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Now check this out. Tisha was raised a Christian. Can you tell me the three people that existed during Jesus' time? Just Jesus' time, do you know?
You mean this period?
The three groups of race of people that existed. You know, you was raised a Christian, right? Do you know? No? Okay, I'm about to tell y'all. See, that's what I'm saying. See, this basic stuff that you're supposed to know if you say you a Christian. But it ain't your fault. Did your pastor school you on that? You just thought everybody in the Bible looked the same, didn't you? No, they didn't. Because you had a group of people called the Romans. Okay? You had a group of people called the Greeks. You had those other people that had color to them. That they call, I want to say the Israelites, or whatever you want to call them. I want to say Ethiopians. That's what I want to say. The other people that the Greeks and the Romans was ruling over. Now check this out. If you know about history, during that time, these group of people was black. And these group of people was not. So when I see a story, or I see a book at the Bible store, and it's got Jesus looking like these group of people, and according to the Bible, he was down with these group of people, I'm confused at that point. I'm confused. See? Because history has already been proven that back during that time, the time that they say Jesus existed, there were only
these people in that part of the on that part of the map. Don't get it twisted. I'm saying where he was. Okay, it was only these people. That's it. So I'm we having class next Wednesday. I'm done. Anybody got any questions? Oh man, hey, we go by the tape. He say, I mean, we can still kick it.
Yeah, but you know, just like you said,
I just like to keep things, you know. I don't like to spit it all out.
those names, like you said, you know, Horace and
Good shit. I like to explore. See what other people are saying, you know. Good stuff. GA in the building, chills. What's happening? Peace. Anyone got work? Who's got work for me? New info regarding the topics that we're covering? Hmm? What you got? Stop hiding. Present your shit. Present your shit. It's only a matter of time.
I chose which.
Like this advert to go by. Ah, nah, I might get a copyright actually. I can't even play that. That's a popular channel. Hell no. Got that. No, can't show that. Oh, yeah, I spoke about the Druids earlier. Let's have a look at that Druid thing. Yeah, that's it. Ah, so the Druids came from Ireland. Okay. Interesting. The word Druid appeared in the poem. Okay. The Balfamac wrote about Jesus, saying that he was better than a prophet, more knowledgeable than every Druid, a king who was worshipped. A king who was a bishop and a complete sage. Okay. The Druids appeared in some of medieval tales from the Christianity. Oh, what's that picture? Okay. Who's that? See who you are. Oh, actually, let me go back a second. I want to see something. The original inhabitants of the British Isles. Okay. Illustration of an arc druid. So they can, okay. Interesting. Look at that, the macro man. Grand old man, look, got people inside of him. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. Burning. Uh-oh. Burning your boy. Grand man. What do you think these druids are showing us? Macro man. Yeah. I think they're telling us something. Sacrifice, okay. Okay. Let me see this painting closely. Not too sure where this is. You know, ED's in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. Interesting. This this man right here, apparently, he invaded the moon. Mhm. But you didn't know that. How can this man here, Mr. Julius Caesar, invade the moon? Hmm? All right. Hmm. So, wow. Showing you the lens and the globe, everything right there. Interesting. Not much information on this one. Just room 50. Oh shit. Take a look. Damn, look at that. Okay. Yeah. The cross. Mm. Showing you. Oh, snap. I got another one. Oh no. My goodness. Look at that. Glorious. Glorious. Mm. I know what I'm looking at. That is, oh man. I love it. I love it. I love it. Ah, e- even when I'm not trying, it's there, right? I'm not even trying. You seeing it? We just click on random shit. We just went over here, blah blah blah, and look, right, smack, bang, wallop. Can't hide itself. It can't hide itself. It just want to say hello. What's this now? Okay, headdress. Okay. Oh, headdress for the upper room. Mhm. Headdress for the upper room. You gotta remember now, this is the Druids from Ireland, right? Ireland. What I've been telling you guys, Outer orbit, outer orbis, island, Druids, island, right? Who's that, Dino? Hello, Dino. Hello, London. How you doing? Just put the kettle on. Just woken up. Gonna have some butter and toast. Yum. Nom, 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 nom. Whoa, what's this? Ceremony. Equinox, okay. Promise Hill. Sorry, Primrose Hill in London. I wonder if that's the, that sounds like, hold on. The, how would you call it? Stonehenge. Is it that Stonehenge? Oh no, please don't tell me that's Stonehenge. Hold on, let's keep going. Let's see what we got. Woo, the spiral. Okay. Okay. All right. I see what you're doing. And these spirals come into play sooner or later because that ties in with the upper room as well, but not physically, but you know, something else that I found out within the upper room and spirals. So be on the lookout for that one. Interesting. But hold on, let's go back to this one real quick. Cause I ain't playing, huh? It's them, not me. They're showing you. Look, I'm just showing you guys. Druids, Island, right? What they're showing us. The lens, the cross, right? The lens and the cross. Jesus is the lens and the cross, right? Jesus is the cross and the lens. This is what you're seeing. The Druids, they just told you, right? They just told you. We got some bots in the building. Thank you, big sister. Big sister, thank you. Big sister, thank you. Big sister. What they do, that's what the bot come out when London's about to get the cooking. But you know, there's a time and a place for it. We didn't even have to try, and look what we stumbled upon. Now, me just seeing that, it reminded me of something else. So I got work to do on that. So excellent. We didn't even have to try. Doctor in the building, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, like I said, open panel, man. Open panel. It's been open for like, yeah, wow. Hit the link, man. 313, what's going on? How we doing? How we doing? See what else I got. Let's see what else I got. Oh yes. Actually, no, not with the bots in the building. Fuck no. Hell no. Yeah, I think we might as well wrap it up. I've been going on for 2 hours now. Long enough for your boy. We'll get together, say hello. Long enough. So nice. Okay, no. You know, just getting in. Yeah, we're just getting out of here now, man. It was just a little quick hello and bye. You know, nothing major. Nothing major. Major. Yeah, thanks to everyone who turned up today, though. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you to 23 for jumping up. Respect to that. G-Wiz, what's going on? What's going on? Good stuff. Hey, till next time. Look after yourself. Love over war. If possible. Alright, if possible. I know how it is out there. Alright. So yeah, peace out. Much love.
Lazy when I'm loving, I'm lazy when I play. I'm lazy with my girlfriend 1,000 times a day. I'm lazy when I'm speaking, I'm lazy when I walk. I'm lazy when I'm dancing and I'm lazy when I talk. I open up my mouth, air comes rushing out. Nothing doing, nada, never. How you like me now? Wouldn't it be mad? Wouldn't it be fine? Lazy, lucky lady, dancing, loving all the time. Wicked and I'm lazy. Don't you wanna save me? But some folks, they got money and some folks' lives are sweet. Some folks make decisions and some folks clean the streets. Now imagine what it feels like, imagine how it sounds. Imagine life is perfect and everything works out. No tears are falling from my eyes. I'm keeping all the pain inside. Now don't you wanna live with me? I'm lazy as a man can be. I'm wicked and I'm lazy. a girlfriend, imagine there's a job, imagine there's an answer, imagine there's a God. Imagine I'm a devil, imagine I'm a saint. Lazy money, lazy, sexy, lazy out of space. No tears are falling from my eyes. I'm keeping all the pain inside. Now don't you wanna live with me? I'm lazy as a man can be. Hard man, hard lives, hard keeping it all inside. Good times, good God. So lazy I almost stopped.